live abroad and want to build your dream home in the Gambia without risking your funds and family ties? Do you want a household name that is trustworthy and efficient? A name that will continue to give you updates on the project from the beginning to the very end with videos and pictures? If your answer is yes, then worry no more. Boss Construction and Asset Management is here for you. If you live outside the Gambia and want to build your dream home, then this is ideal for you. Just reach out to Boss Construction and let's start building the dream home into a reality. With Boss Construction, the difference is clear. We give you value for money. Some of our services includes the following: construction management, building equipment rentals, rent management, purchase and leasing, asset management, and many more. For more information, please contact 282-4945. Better still, send us an email, bossgambia@gmail.com, or you can also visit our website on www.bossgambia.com. Boss Construction, a name you can trust. Boss Construction and Asset Management, keeping families together.
No lañ def ñooy ñëw ak yéen rek Skincare Plus nara jàkkaarloo ak yéen waxtaan ak yéen tuuti rek si suñu tube suñu baax emuñ rek ci ay diw waaye comme ni ngeen ko xamee rek dañoo yëngu ci ay tube te yënguwuñ nag si just any tube suñ tube bu nekk 5-star jesna la 5-star jesna mooy jesna bi gën a pire moom la ñoo tube palmaan bi gën a fort moom la ñoo liggéeyee ñun rek si tube dara du doy day des not only dañoo tube but bu la neexee ñu tuubal la ba pare nag ñawal la. We're not all about skin. We are skin, care, and the plus does come in so many different ways.
I think 2 years ago, and last year they did their fourth festival, and which attracted a lot of people from the region, and of course so many people built interest with their association and what they are doing. And to talk about this event that is coming on Saturday, I have with me Top Club, Mr. Almayimanga. Welcome to Kerr.
Thank you for today.
And I didn't think I was going to interview you because we always fight on social media, so wow. So I didn't think I would have you because we always fight on social media. Sorry, they just told me that my sound was not coming, but I'm happy that you're on the class, and welcome to Kerr.
Thank you for today, and it's a pleasure for us to be here.
And of course, also I have Amadou. Amadou is member of the organization. Amadou, welcome to Kerr.
Thank you so much, Auntie Fatou. It's a pleasure to be on your
So
platform.
Amadou, you know I don't like to be called auntie, right?
Oh.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
They wasn't calling you that, so I hope you don't mind.
Don't worry, don't worry. Also, I have another brother, Saidina. You know, everybody knows me and him, our relationship, but he's my brother and from Lamin as well, Kerawan. Welcome to the show, Saidina.
It's a pleasure to join you today.
Yeah. And of course, my brother and friend, we went way back from high school. Ismaila is my brother, and he's also a member of this team. It's a great honor to have you on a platform like this. I never thought we would share a platform.
Thank you very much, Fatou. It's a pleasure to be with you.
And thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure.
And so first and foremost, just like I said, we're going to talk about the FAD. FAD is the Foni Agency for Rural Development. Last year, I know we had Lamin Tamba on the brunch to talk about the association, but let's first and foremost, let's talk about FAD. What is FAD and what initiated FAD, Almami?
Thank you very much once again, Fatou, for having us in this platform. I have to apologize to the viewers because I've lost my voice recently. Notwithstanding, the idea behind FAD is actually born out of desire. This was something that was mooted, it's an idea that was mooted by some of us and spearheaded by Lamin Tamba as well as our brother here, Ismaila. We really diagnosed the problems Foni actually is facing, and we thought government cannot do it alone, so we have to come together as a people and see how we can actually find solutions to solve some of these problems we are facing. So this is what actually motivated all of us to come up with this idea. And then, you know, you have to also understand that some of the priority areas as far as Foni is concerned, health, education, agriculture. If you know Foni very well, you know agriculture is perhaps the mainstay, is what we do to earn our living. And education-wise, we've been actually doing very well, but we want to take it to a different level. But government cannot do it alone, so we have to be doing something that will complement government's effort. So this is actually what motivated all of us to come up, you know, with this idea, and then this idea was sold out. Initially, it started through a WhatsApp group created by Lamin, and he added a few of us, and then it expanded, because once we told some of our big brothers, they also embraced the idea, and then, you know, we sold it out. Since then, it's gaining momentum. And initially, we wanted a pageant sort of, but then when we sold the idea, some people disagreed. They said, no, we have to go for something that actually is a true reflection of the people of Foni. And then we came up with a festival where every tribe, every culture in the Foni is a very diverse region. All cultures will be represented. People will come and show what they are capable of doing. And then, you know, yes, we set up a date that was last year in December, and it went very successful, even though we had slight hitches, but that is to be expected. When a program starts, you know, we are expected to have some slight hitches, but then you should use that as a learning curve. So this year, you know, we are going to register more successes. I have no doubt about it. Yeah.
So when you talk about FAD, the first thing that comes to mind, Ismaila, is it a political group? I mean, I know last year when the association was registered, when the promotion started, people started having that conversation, because our society is such that now when a group of people start coming together, the first thing they think about is this a political movement? Tell us, is this association in any way a political movement or anything that we're looking at in the future?
Thank you so much, Fatou. This is a very good question, and a question that needs a brilliant answer. FAD, which is Foni Agency for Rural Development, is non-political, non-tribal, non-religious, non-class association. Again, like our only top cop in town has mentioned, this association was born out of the desire to develop Foni and by extension to the rest of the country, and therefore it has nothing to do with any political party, it has nothing to do with any tribal issues or religious sentiments as such. All the people of Foni and also the rest of the country are members. And you will see that when we meet over the weekend, there's going to be people from all walks of life, different political parties, irrespective of what they believe in, would be there. So, in summary, it's non-political, non-religious, non-tribal, and it's there for the development of Foni around sports, around agriculture, around education, and again, how to complement government to take the country to the next level.
And then what's remarkable is the kind of leadership we have also seen in the group. People like General Tamba, who is very much respected in our community. Somebody like him, we have seen how he is, last year I have seen that he was very much involved in the association. It seems like every prominent person from that region is also part of the association. How were you able to bring everybody together as a community to bring people like that? Because it gives a lot of weight to have people like them and you guys who are also very prominent in society to be part of it. That is what any group will want to attract, people that are respected in community. How were you able to bring everybody on board to be part of the organization?
Thank you very much. Again, Auntie Fatou. I think that's a very good question because, like Manga said, if you look at the initial setup of FAD, you realize that it started with a very limited group with a few individuals that had concept at first and sat together and brainstormed, brought in ideas and issues that could really be of great relevance to the communities of Foni. From there, they created a WhatsApp group. It's still limited to a closed group, and the ideas were still being exchanged. And at some point, even the name FAD, it came to a general assembly where it has to be debated as to how do we name the organization. There are a lot of names that were brought, and along the line it has to be debated, and finally FAD was approved as a Foni Agency for Rural Development. Again, if you look at the composition of the executive, it's such a way that you find divergent backgrounds, and of course also it's not only limited between Foni. We have in our organizing committee people who are not even from Foni, but because it's a development-oriented charity organization, people are willing to come in and give it a supporting hand. And that is why with the idea, we were able to sell it out, and people started voluntarily coming to take up responsibilities. The composition of the executive and the organizing committee in a whole, everyone started again. The awareness creation was very fundamental at the beginning, because like you said, the question you asked to address to Ismaila, at first the concept when FAD was initiated, people thought it is kind of related to politics. We have to come, have an advocacy tour. We have to start from the communities first, because we believe in order for us to sell our agenda, we need to know what our agenda is. We need to sensitize to our own very people what this organization stands for, what are our goals, what do we intend to achieve at the end of the day. Through that, we bring them on board and let them take ownership, because you wouldn't expect someone from somewhere to come and develop your own community if you're not willing or ready to do so for yourself. Because even if the person, you look at the most times we have projects in our communities and they are not sustainable. Why? Because those projects, they come, and at the end of the day, there's no sustenance because the communities didn't take ownership of that project. They just think, okay, it's a duration of 5 years project or 2 years project. When it's done and dusted. At the end of the day, we have to start zero again, or we have to start begging again. So when the idea came, we really had to start by selling the idea, having a lot of community sensitization. We went across the communities, spoke to them, used media platforms, spoke to them about our aims and objectives, and telling them or assuring them that we cannot do it alone. We need their support. We need them to come on board, take ownership, and together we're able to going to achieve our goals. And thankfully, within a short period of time, because FAD was just launched last year, this is the second anniversary, and within this short 12 months, FAD is able to achieve a whole lot, because FAD is able to invest in various sectors, in health and education, most especially, which are key intervention areas for FAD.
And then you just reminded me about something, that's the recruitment drive. Who becomes a member? Do you just have to be a member, a resident of Foni, or I am from Western region, I'm not far from Foni. How do is it open to everybody, or is it restricted to members of Foni? And of course, what are some of the ways of raising funds if the initiative the organization has?
Thank you very much, Fatou. I think I will have to buttress this issue on Monica for our beautiful followers. Yeah, ila jabi na akumeta bagana. Fatou kafole miyanko among from purung political kamba, among from purung siwa kamba. Fatou na tale purung kamul makoy, mulmi foni kiyang danaka Gambia mume. But ku idea ni awuta Foni as the name prescribed. Foni Agency for Rural Development. Put a boga in Kavogono. Momo Mianko Gamenonam, and he or she is interested on making Gambia great and large piece of art. He or she is welcome.
Okay.
To join the FAD. Because our objective is Punkajoko Gambia, Bata Musumana Akabata, to providing them all what they need with regards to this agriculture, gardening, and yeah, give okay. Sometime last year, beyond hospital, we also helped them with these achievements. Pun kela dogoni samba nyaro, and beyond the salon, mudmane karaja jarolo, goka badam kombodene, ikata bia. So FAD those other things that FAD is looking at. And you are also welcome to join FAD, but. Mobi mina Fatou, I don't know, Fenkoni, among form for particular. Still.
That is very important. I think
just to add something on to Akamufote, with regards to who can be a FAD member. Like I said, you look at the initial setup of FAD, most of the pioneers, some of them are not even from Foni. The name Foni Agency for Rural Development, Foni is there, but rural development is also there as well. Our intention is not only to develop Foni, but to develop rural communities by extension to other parts of the country, other regions as well. And we've gone further to even support people who are not within Foni, who are beyond Foni. I could cite an example of the previous fatal accident that happened somewhere around Pira. We had victims that are not from Foni, and FAD had to go and meet them, meet their families, and give them compensation, not actually pay them, but some help, some support. We also created fundraisings. At the end of the day, those proceeds were used again to support families of those victims and even those who passed away. May their souls rest in peace. So this shows that FAD is not only there for the people of Foni, but by extension to other regions of the country. That is why the rural development is still there, but it has to start somewhere.
And of course, you guys started somewhere last year. The 4th edition was held. So let's talk about how successful was the 4th edition, and were there any initiatives that FAD has taken upon themselves to carry out since the launching of the 4th edition?
Yes, obviously, like I stated in my introduction, the last year was the maiden edition, and obviously you don't expect it to be 100% successful. There were slight hitches here and there, but overall, if I am to grade it, I'll give it A neutral, because it wasn't easy. Because, like you stated, when we came up with this, some people had a misconception that it's about politics. And if you know, most of us, we are not into politics. The nature of our jobs would not allow us to be involved in politics. So that was also a challenge. We had to work so hard to make sure that we demystify. We ensure that people understand that FAD is not a political entity. On the side of the successes, other successes we have registered, you'll notice that Biam Hospital is one of the biggest hospitals in the Gambia, and fortunately it's located in Foni, and it's in Biam, and Biam happens to be the middle, the center, of Foni. And a lot of people beyond Foni, and even people on the other side of the country, go to Biam for their medical needs. So last year we had the opportunity to get a philanthropist to donate us with some medical stuff, which we took to the hospital, and they were donated and handed over to the CEO of the hospital through General Tamba, who is the chairperson of the organization. That was done, And also, like he stated, there was also an accident where people were injured and they were admitted at the Royal Victoria Teaching Hospital, Edward Francis Moore Teaching Hospital. And we had a discussion, heated debate, and we agreed that we should extend a helping hand to the people that were admitted in the hospital. And so through our chairperson, we took a token, not very much, but as a show of appreciation. You know, we do not have, because we're beginning, but we have to go and show support, and we gave them a token of appreciation. Not only that, also, FAD has been invited to several occasions to events, and we have responded positively. Not long ago, Ismaila Amboy and myself attended a program, an event launching of health initiative, which is something that was initiated by a Gambian brother. So we had to go there and show solidarity. Also, last year, this year, around June, we had a program at the Westfield where we organized a fundraising show with Patiai, and people came. Some people donated it, and we used some of these proceeds to sponsor. Amboy sitting here is one of the beneficiaries. He was attending a journalism program at the School of Journalism and Media, and we had to come to his aid because he's a bona fide member and he's doing remarkably well. So we had to sponsor him. So I can see FAD actually sponsored him.
In 1 year you can
in 1 year we were able to do that. Not long ago also, a colleague of ours was also involved in another accident, and he was admitted at the hospital. We had to go there. Literally, I can say we had to support him with a very, very handsome, gave him a lot of money for his treatment. That was done. And currently, right now, we are also trying to identify some people within Foni and beyond who are deaf in their need, especially when it comes to their education. We have a lot of brilliant kids in Foni, but financing their education is a problem because they're from very humble backgrounds, especially their mothers are struggling so hard to make sure that they educate their kids. So what we are trying to do as of now, we are trying to identify who are those who are actually in their need, so that we can, from this coming academic year, we want to start actually sponsoring kids to go to school, because that is an area we really are very interested, especially on the side of the girl child. We want to make sure that we play a leading role in educating the girl child, especially not only in Foni, as the name depicts, rural girl child. We want them to come and then compete with the finest in this country.
Wow, that's a great initiative, and I think every Gambian should be ready to chip in something like that.
Absolutely, yes. Just to add on to some of the achievements or successes, actually I am lucky to be the first beneficiary of FAD. Immediately it was launched. FAD catered for my diploma bill at Majak, which right now I've completed and got my internship by next week. And also for Beyond General Hospital, there was a presentation on 2 occasions actually. We had great partnerships with other organizations which have a common goal with us. We have an organization called the Gambia Diaspora Health Initiative, through a sister from Foni as well, who saw the idea of FAD and was and welcomed it with open arms. So they supported us with those medical equipment. So it didn't even take us within 3-4 months for us to go back again with other medical equipments again. So we did 2 presentations of medical equipments to the Buyam General Hospital. At some point, some of those medical equipments were in fact not, the hospital couldn't use them, so they had to refer them to the Banjul. So you could see how the aid has been broadened also. And also with regards to, again, the education that he said, FAD is looking into how to invest, because that is the theme for this year, actually, investing in youth. We will come to that, but FAD has already started doing that, because we believe for sustainable development to be realistic, you need to invest in the youth, because youth are the backbone of every community and the nation as well. So FAD is doing that. We also went across the communities, because one of our key intervention areas is access to clean and drinking water. We realized that some of these communities, you have to travel kilometers to access water. And again, even that water, how clean is it is questionable. So FAD is looking at means through partnerships again to see, because FAD doesn't have the money, it doesn't have the capital at hand. Like he said, our major source of income is the monthly subscriptions of which is also voluntary of $100 per member. This is voluntary, this is not like obligatory or so. And sometimes, even though amongst our members people have come forward and help greatly by contributing others 5,000, 10,000, and so forth. But then our major source of income is just through this monthly subscription, and out of that we are thinking of all these broad aspects. So we're thinking of how do we support these communities with boreholes for them to have, and we've done that assessment already, and we're thinking of what to do or whom to contact and see that it is realistic. Also, FAD's biggest achievements again happens to be, like he said, when it comes to the agriculture, we're thinking of, when you talk about Foni, we know that we are known for farming. So we want to see how best we could invest in farming, and by doing so we already have to look for ways to cater for lands which could be easy, and from there we also engage the communities themselves to take ownership of those lands, because at the end of the day the proceeds are coming back to FAD. So we supported people also who are sick, who are ill. Recently we had an asthmatic patient, and through his intervention, FAD was able to also intervene through the links and support, and the patient is undergoing treatment. So you could see the idea of FAD, they want to help, or we want to help, but then it can't be done alone. We have great achievements in terms of partnerships. Kerr is of course a big major partnership. This is a whole lot of money, but if Kerr is able to understand, have that understanding with FAD, for us to have such a program or such a platform, that is commendable. So these are the partnerships that establishing partnership is also a big achievement or big success as far as FAD is concerned. And
I think definitely partnerships will help a lot in this kind of drive, because just like you said, GDHI, there are so many groups in the diaspora who would want to help. I know I work with the diaspora club as well, who would want to help, but they don't know who to go to. So these are very important initiatives when you talk about rural development, helping women, helping children. Those are things that everybody, for example, like you said, the water project. You go to some communities, you look at the water, you're like, is this what people drink? And we are sitting here and we are so blessed with what we have. Sometimes we forget about these rural people. So it's good to have conversations like this, to have people who are watching, who have great, they have the support, they have the money, or they have the connections to know that, yes, I can go through FAD and make this donation, because Foni is the heart of Gambia. Sure. It's Western region. So, I always tell people, Western region is the most populated, but also we are the less privileged, because we have so many people in our communities, so we don't have resources. If you look at the Buyam Hospital, the kind of patients they see, it's more than any hospital apart from Banjo. Buyam, Farafenye, and Bansang. So for people to come out and help this community, government cannot do it all alone. So I think this is a great initiative, and a lot of people should come out and support. Sure. But yeah, you want to come in?
Yeah, actually, just can you kumoni jamas because kuto left at dongola bani
exactly.
There are many projects me alongo nyata kami implement. Me alongo abe Gambia mume president fala ani Africa mume. Okay, so until like na symboli amangwala, but na income can sort of to this monthly contributions and our this annual event. Okay, there be when it comes to agriculture, Foni eka tiyo still Foni you will be here, but still now there's no company Prunka will refine, Prunka export. So FAD is also looking at those issues. Ka factory law, ka tiyo sang senenalia. Okay, ani fen jamal. Dudo minka tinya Foni kono. Asiata. But nalile ko masakuna tabe kenola. So I'm told me uncle mun kamero le, mun Foni gifnali. At least we have to come in. We come up with ideas, policies on how we can make Gambia great.
And that reminds me of something that happened recently. Kabrin, the governor, I think the chairman of the Brikama Area Council, took some mangoes to Senegal. People started complaining, oh no, why are you taking our mangoes? But the fact of the matter is, Western region, Kabo Foni, Kanafo, Kombojan, Duto Min Kabo Nimbango Katiakale. And we cannot consume it all.
Yeah.
We don't have processing plants. I remember my mom, they had this association to me, I jammed it from locally. But when they make these things, Jumale Kasam, even to get it in our hotels or to get it in our supermarkets is difficult. Because people say, I did that journey. Unless it comes from a factory, unless it comes from something near more processed locally, I seal properly, we will not consume it because we think, I did that better. So that's why sometimes we will see people taking our mango, taking it to Senegal or some other places because they have factories to process it. So if we have something like that in the region, in Western region, in the heart of the Gambia, where you know this process water, and it's not because we have more people in it than anywhere, but because man fenu sutum badira la nyaming dutol katara tinyarne.
In fact, in Foni, ni dutol moda, duto mi bankoma mubuko ni sole kawdoma. Ni so fongo e ka dum la ko fongo
e ka choose le be no
so that's why come era council e ka dutol export to Dakar because jang factory ya pour min ka wodi fine it is better di imoni khada mali mon la rather than I think and the other thing also is we are also about to embark on this advocacy which will include this gender-based violence, HIV and AIDS, and specifically also women's empowerment. And which also include this entrepreneurship, small business management, and other factors.
And I think that is very important because I know they have this year project, and then people always say people from our communities are not benefiting from it.
Absolutely.
It's only people from Congo and Serakunda and Banjul and others who are mainly benefiting. People from our regions are not benefiting because they don't have the qualifications. And they don't have the people that help them. So that brings me to the theme that investing in the youth for sustainable development, Ismaila. Because investing in the youth is the way forward for any person, starting from our homes. You know, how we educate them to be our boys, to be responsible men. How we educate our young girls to know that they should be empowered. They should look at themselves and see a Fatou or see an Aïssatou in themselves. How they can feel that they can conquer the world wherever they go, but unless we're able to invest in them and give them that power, that's why this theme is really very important for me. How did you guys come about that theme, and what is the way for what are you going to do to achieve that target?
Fatou, before I go to answer your question, maybe I will take a couple of steps backwards and speak in Wolof. Dinañ jërëjëf leen wax thank you so much ngeen ñu join tey si waxtaan FAD comme almaami nu mu ko waxee ak ñeneen FAD mooy Foni Agency for Rural Development mbootaay boo xam ne ñu jógee Foni ñoo ko taxawal waaye ñu ngi ko taxawal pour Gambie yëpp ñu ngi fi pour jàppale askan bi faanaay education faanaay agriculture ak yeneen kon tey ñu ngi ñëwoon fii si ndimbal Fatou Touré koo xam ne suñu sister la ba pare daf ñu jàppale ñëw fii pour ñu jéem a waxtaan ak yéen waaye tey comme moom lu ma laajte si anglais dinaa si sawar a answer. I'll be super excited to answer your question on the theme this year, investing in youth for sustainable development. Now, the youth are not only the future, but they're the present. So, and then for you, for us to achieve anything in Foni and by extension the Gambia and the whole world, we have to invest in youth. Now, if you take a step backwards and look at the youth in Gambia, we have lost a huge number of our young people in the Mediterranean Sea. Why? The natural human feeling or thought is self-preservation. You don't want to die. But when a young man of 18 to 25 years says, I'd rather die in sea than stay in Gambia, it's worrying. And that's one of the reasons why we said the theme this year is investing in youth for sustainable development. Now we can all go academic and talk about SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, and our able lecturer can go into it for the next couple of hours. But when you look at what FAD is established for, around education, around agriculture, around women empowerment, around girl child education, around all the around sports. You realize that the youth are at the center of it all. And the more we invest in the youth, in terms of education, in terms of awareness, our country will take the next big leap to the next level. Unless we do that, it's all going to be just talk. And again, we are not politicians. We are here, FAD is not political. So
we can never avoid politics though.
Yeah.
Because some of these conversations bring us to the political, especially when you talk about the pathway.
So I said it's not political because the politicians romanticize a lot. And the FAD is not here to romanticize or to talk about things in a nice way. We are actually here and we believe in what we are talking about. And we want to do it. And like my colleagues have already mentioned, we went out there, we've done something in Buyam, and through General Tamba's leadership and our health secretary, Mariama Jame, we have been able to adopt one of the wards in Buyam, the maternity ward. And on Sunday, we're going to paint it.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure any of us is a painter man here, but we're going to do it.
Great.
And we're going to show leadership, and we're going to make a difference. So, for me, this year, the theme is timely. You look at the back way, you look at our youth here who think they cannot achieve a lot here. We can actually make it here. You are a classical example. You're a Gambian. You've gone out, you've come back, you've established Fatou. It's a top-level media house. I mean, Top Cop went out, studied, came back. He's one of probably the best you can get in the police force. I mean, Amadou Buba, another great one in the media fraternity. I mean, check Selina on his letters.
He better not send me anyone. I told him.
You will not get any open letter. I mean, so when you look at Gambia and Gambians, I mean, in the international arena, we are doing excellently well. And Gambians are people with good hearts. And when you talk about in terms of who are supporting us and how do we raise funds, money is coming from different people from different walks of life. Even students are contributing $50, $100, $200. And you have the other big brothers out there with bigger hearts contributing a little bit more. And you are here even with a bigger heart and offering us free a show for an hour. And that's cost a lot of money. So, well, that's what I will say for now. But and
I think it's always important for people to say. I always say this. If you say, "Oh, I don't have a lot of money, so I cannot give," then you're mistaken. Because if you have $5 and give $1, that is helping somebody out there who you don't know that money that you're putting out there, how far is going to help another person's life. But this brings me to, he touched on the back way. And this is something, I mean, it hits home. And all of us, collectively, we are all indirectly a victim. It's either a family member has gone through it, has made it, but if you say has made it, maybe the best part is it has crossed. But it's another part of the world, but you're still supporting them. Or they are every day they're going through something difficult. As a person, you don't want them to go through that. And thank God there are some people who are really doing well, and we're so happy that they're able to help their families back home. But yes, we have people who have died in the sea, and it's also sad. But the funny thing about it is this: even though this incident happened a couple of weeks ago, there are still people who are still going. And they were so what can we do as a community to keep our people home? I know there are people that are supposed to go, that they will still go, but the rate that our youth are going is really high. As a country, it's not helpful. What do we need to do?
Thank you very much. I think at some point we have to be, again, what I'm to say is my opinion. It's my take. I think it all boils down to frustration. The youths are frustrated, and you see, the beauty of having a child is for that child to grow up and become a responsible person and help you as the parent. That is what you see. We are all from homes, and we are working, we are getting something. Each day you give something to your parents.
And we have seen how our parents have
absolutely.
suffered. We all come from less-privileged homes.
So any day, just look at your family.
Yeah.
Each day you buy a bag of rice or give them something, buy a dress for them. Just look at their face.
Yeah.
That level of satisfaction is what every person wants.
Yeah.
I will not be happy to go out at my age and not be able to help my family. That is a shame on me. And that is what the youth want. We have to be bold enough to tell the truth.
Call it out,
You know, the opportunities are limited if they exist. Not everybody wants to be a security personnel. Maybe I want to be a security personnel, but that is not what another person wants to. So the environment must be conducive. There has to be opportunities out there for the youth to grab. Until we are able to address this problem, the youth will continue to find a way to leave this country. I'm not saying that is the best thing for them to do, but that is their opinion, that's their options. If you don't want to sit at home just to be brewing at and drinking, and everywhere you come, you know, they cook food and call you to come and eat. You ask even to buy a cigarette, you have to ask your own mom to give you $25. It's very, very sad. And it's happening. It's happening in our communities. You go to every community, this is happening. How do we address this problem? We have to have a policy. We have to have a policy that is people-centered. A policy that when you are talking to the people, tell them what is obtainable. And then things that are realistic. You don't give people false hopes. Because when you give people false hopes, when you get there, they look at you and you're not giving them the hopes, all the things that you have promised them, then it becomes a problem. It now becomes a survival of the, you know, a survival of the fittest. And how many people are fit enough to be able to survive under such a very, very frustrating environment? I wouldn't embark on such a journey. I've been to Europe, I've seen what is there, even though you tell some people that what you expect to find there is actually not there. But people want to go and see for themselves. Sometimes, you know, they may never even see, because we have seen the amount of people that are dying in this Mediterranean Sea. So, for me, the approach is we have to be realistic and tell each other that this country belongs to us. We have to do what it takes to put the right policies in place so that everybody will have, you know, that feeling that I am important in this country.
I am catered for.
Yes, I am catered for. And that I am important in this country, and that whatever investment is made, let the people, the ordinary people, have a feel of it. You know, because for me, those are the most important people. When you go to the market on a daily basis, you see the number of women in our markets. Some of them carrying their babies on their backs, carrying loads of buckets, selling around. You go to bank, every day from Monday to Friday, you see people selling all sorts of things. People sell granite, people sell tomato, people sell corn. They're selling and all these people doing this are women. And it's not just for them, it's for their kids. They pay their school fees, things are not easy, and this is the reality. Anybody who tells you anything different, the person is being dishonest. And we have to confront some of these issues. Let's confront these issues holistically, find a well-defined policy, and then we begin to work on these policies realistically and honestly. Otherwise, these problems will continue to rear their ugly heads. That's what I think.
And that is going to be very bad for our community. We need to have a productive youth. We need to have an enlightened youth. But that's why projects like FAD, like what you're doing, initiatives like this are very important. If we cannot have government put policies like this, us at community level to be able to enlighten our people, and we might be able to save 1 or 2 people, because that's why it's important to have initiatives like this. So let's talk about this year's edition. I know it starts on Friday, so what's the outline of the events and programs?
The events, I know will go into Jola subsequently, but let me just answer your
I didn't know you speak Jola. You're full of Jola.
More than him, though.
Really? Yeah, this one can only speak English. He doesn't speak good Monica, good Wolof, good Jola.
Just to talk a bit on what he actually said about the theme.
Yeah.
And, I am at some point a victim of this, and thanks to FAD, I am free. I can tell you that for the past 15 years I've been in the community and nowhere but just one community, working voluntarily in the media sector, and subsequently things were not easy because it is in such a way that all your life what you depend on is what people give you, and that is not investment. When Auntie Fatou gives me $100 is for me to help myself with my fish money, she's not investing on me. Okay, that is how it has been. At some point, anytime you have something, you need something, you have to go to someone, or someone just admires your work. You know how the media is. Someone sees how good you are on media. Okay, come home after I have this for you, and you appreciate it because they appreciate the work you do. But was that investment? No. It wasn't. It was up till when I joined FAD, and through meeting people and interacting with them. At some point before I even met FAD, I had to undergo surgery, and this surgery was a turning point in my life because it reached a point where I could not afford the bill for myself. Someone has to intervene, whom I know through FAD again. So you see what FAD was able to do to me. When at that point I had opportunities from different media houses, and I said to myself, it's time for me to move on and think about my life. Think about investing in my life, in myself, because I have a responsibility. I have a wife to take care of. I have a family to take care of. I cannot be doing this for decades and decades. Until when? Until when? And that was a turning point. I'm sharing this story because it's related to what FAD does. Exactly, it's inspiring. So when I approached FAD, they said, we are going to invest on the people of Foni, and you are lucky to be the first beneficiary of our education scholarship. This is it. Go do your thing. And today I am here. I've completed my diploma certificate. I'm going to the advanced diploma. Thanks to FAD. I am with my job as well. I am independent and I am self-reliant, and they have invested in me, and the investment is now paying dividends. This is what FAD intends to do to a whole lot of youth in the communities. And education is the biggest investment for anybody. It's the central focus. For the community, for any individual, but also for our community. Because what you will add to this community is way, way bigger than what you will achieve monetarily. So it's very important. Absolutely. So FAD, in essence, wants to do this and much more. Again, like you said, education is the central focus. Come on Sunday, part of the activities that we are going to do, starting from Friday tomorrow, we will be having a road carnival. We've again assigned or taxed DJs from Foni, because the festival is in such a way that we don't only want to raise fund, but do a whole lot of things at one point. That is educate, to inform, to entertain, to remind our people of our norms and our values, our culture, and also to interact, to network. We want to bring all these things during this weekend. So on Friday we're investing on youth again. We're bringing artists from Foni, DJs from Foni, to give them a platform to perform. An international platform for that matter to perform, because we don't want to go outside and take people who are not from Foni and isolate ourselves. Then our realities are not achieved. Ourselves to say we want to invest in our people is not achieved at the end of the day. So we'll be having a road carnival and wearing our FAD t-shirts. Again, during that carnival, we'll be sending messages. We'll be doing advocacies, like he said, especially on health and youth empowerment in relation to the theme. At that night, we'll be having the fundraising with the same artists and DJs. Then on Saturday will be the official opening ceremony of the 2nd annual anniversary. We'll have statements from the chairman and other executive members. Then from there, we'll also have the cultural display. Wow. Nawek has done it. So Nawek has done it. They always they always do that. So gosh. Hurry up.
Clock is started. Please connect.
So I don't know if we're still on. Yes, we should be on, but are we on?
It's gone.
Not yet.
The connection.
The connection.
Okay, so just hurry up, let it connect, and we will close. It's not like this is what we always do.
Beautiful.
Just to add.
Yeah, but then I will
Summarize.
No, you are not summarizing.
just go right.
Like, don't give me problem here. Malaysia, it's not Kabo, it's not me.
No, so it's you guys.
No, it's not me, it's not
I'm
Kabo.
not Fatou.
Hey, who?
Of course.
You, yes, my neighbor.
No,
That is the only thing.
no open letter to Kerr Fatou.
It's not us there.
Just,
Just not us there. It's not right.
We're zero, man.
Sanchino do.
So that I can put it on YouTube. Go live on the pod. Are we? Are you recording?
Yeah.
So sorry guys for that power outbreak. It's actually in Iraq. They always do this, so we're sorry about that. But you were, we were talking about something very important, how you intend to use the local people to make sure the message that you send out is prominent. Because it's important now to create that platform for our people, because of course if you do this program you have all media houses there. Absolutely. So it's always important to be there and also make sure the people that highlight your programs are the community people as them, because you're not just promoting yourself but you're also promoting the community. So it's important for us to see the cultural displays. It's important for us to see our people in these platforms, because all media houses will be there. So it's important that you were talking about that.
Yes, in fact, that's why our cultural display will be featured after the official opening ceremony on Saturday, and this will bring in divergent cultures, not only in Foni but in the Gambia. Because, like I said, we want to retain our culture and remind our youth, because that is also another form of investment, investing on youth, because you have to invest the cultural norm into the youth. We cannot just forget totally about our culture and adopt the modern culture or the 21st century culture like James is doing right now, forgetting his own language. So we need to keep on reminding ourselves. So after that, it will be followed by a big wrestling contest.
Oh, wow.
In terms of sports, when you come to Foni, wrestling is one of the biggest eye-catching activity in sports. So we are featuring 3 combats which are going to be named after people. And these combats are Balasta of Jifanga, actually coincidentally, we're having Jolas wrestling against the Syrians. Okay. So you know
that would be interesting. That would be interesting.
So we'll have 3 combats.
I bet the Jolas will win.
Last year it
happened. You know my
happened.
grandmother is Jolas.
Then you can't afford to miss this one. So we'll have Balasta is from Jifanga and Viper is from Serekunda here. They are wrestling in the senior combat. Then we have the intermediate, Rambo of Pakao, not the APRC Rambo, but this is a wrestler Rambo. And Hajai of Bajiga from Casamas. And also we'll be having the 3rd combat, that is the junior combat, who is Jida of Nemakunku, again another series against Gainde of Jikis in Foni. So this is a composition of different ways of combatants who will be wrestling after the cultural display, which will also be followed by Batia fundraising. Batia will be there to entertain the people again in the night. Then on Sunday morning,
So this is on Saturday, right?
This is on Saturday.
Okay.
The cultural display, the opening ceremony, and the wrestling is all on Saturday. And Batia will close the Saturday night with the fundraising. Then on Sunday morning, we will be going to visiting the Buyan General Hospital. Earlier on, Ismaila did mention that we have a ward being named after us, and one of the most critical and important wards, of course, in a clinic, that is the maternity ward, where it all happens. So FAD is honored to be named after that ward. So we'll be doing some painting in that ward, but not only limited to that. We'll be having a blood harvesting or blood donation also. During that while others are painting the walls, others are donating blood to the blood bank in Buyan General Hospital, and also we'll be having a sensitization talk show on HIV/AIDS and other teenage pregnancy, amongst other relevant topics at the hospital, which will be followed by a stakeholders meeting, because we don't just want to come have fun and everything's going, everyone disperses, you go back to your destination. No, we want at the end of the festival, we have a dialogue with our communities, with our people, get to listen to them, because if you want to have an effective communication, you don't have to be the only one to talk, but as well be a good listener to know what their problems are. Perhaps you must have cited issues that are not even closer to what they are going through. So we'll be having that community dialogue with them, and that will be closed, of course, by after that we will disperse.
Great initiative and great lineup. I think I will combine pro molde body moila pro activities will be it's very, very important, especially when you know the blood donation part is really interesting because every day come when the mobile of town to just be before and more message can we put this out mobile of town and every single one of us should be able to donate blood, but model camera near the drum problem. So initiatives like this is very important to bring the community and help donate that. Woman can call it, woman can fendi. Just jata can they drum. So akumaya the activities online outline in Members of starting from Friday to Sunday.
Thank you very much, Fatou. Just ka mina kumo nyambas. Yeah, currency these days many people have been requesting this blood. And most things now happen people say on social media.
Yeah.
Any blood request anymore. Na can attend them alonko fat 2% akabonang fat mulito menka wo jabi. Mo be fat mi alonko wol imeta ka parene.
Yeah.
Ya mo ñu kene rek ikatale ikar ma ko rojo.
Yeah.
Ama me fala musoni fala akema bantu ni le. Adungo fala kam ko mo soliano and fala asma personal. But kumoni dinga janjang far kono to the diaspora they contributed to kawo musoni fana makoy and also Bantora events there are many events but also there are also events behind the scene. We might also have a science and technology event wherein the Foni kids will come out and showcase their talents. Because technology is very important.
Yeah.
And looking at the theme of this year, investment in youth.
Yeah.
For Ninket, you look also the me alonko as any banko move to another level. So now I give a programming and start like being ajumo, sibito, kana for dimaso. I bet not that any felgola uroso.
Oh, arjumo.
Admono. Work for Ninket level Yanokara. Because kute kenora fonigel koma. So na boda je fana suto fana amba evento fana sotala. Especially batiyai. Batiyai kan yamoy dawada kay mom. Wo kay mom amake frabedi.
Batiyai fama satina nde fama inalo. Katu batiyai wol kam wonji yandire.
Frabedi. Anda frabedi fana.
Yeah.
Biam hospital fana. Wodole bije mi yar ko fadle wo adapt.
Ha.
Farm call, any more me and for their stakeholders, baby town J and yellow donate. Because Haramadimo at a bolumola yellow coma. So where yellow fan, Nabi Biam Jefana, they will also supply to all hospitals across Krafu Hanifo Kerr.
So akumaya the left and akumaya the back yellow deal. Purka tandi badi wala kumaya tanyame because nkaminke on social media it's not sustainable. Ni mobile town da solo to yellow nga announce mole bori. Because I remembered a friend of mine lost a lot of blood, and then I put it on Fatou. Tariake people were coming, but before you futanang, over 20 people came. But before you process ka yelota ka deda ka samba, we lost her. So sometimes I think the situation min kumaya tabake wala mulkata comme ñu initiative sifa nato yake mu jamaay fintina ni fintina nam biolo betala jel ibaji lako ni ko kar sula tara drum they go to the bank and they get it but kankam batu nga fo ngam batu kar lo ta ngam da social media nga announce mul binale alon ko janni modo ya fla ko way group do so take a difficult way to get certain blood group types and then ya announce ko buyam nita urology janni tenga bo fo bir kama o combo kata buyam because alon fana social media asiata ni mafa wala ba so ninte ngaje kombo janja ninte kata bu ya mata tara alaman tankala o mare min nitala atata so it's important to call on people to say you thinking and through these initiatives you na ye blood ya tara loptano to tara di ready made sai ni mosula tala wato wati tara di I think that is important for us to echo all the time
but for energy in another angle fana people also don't understand the importance and significance of this blood donations okay, don't come here near yellow di mola. I can finish tala ebola bola. So that misconception, I found be far la part of fana kunole. Punka more sensitized. Kumaya be in the deal. Definitely body muso. I found bantal through this yellow promoting. So right now there will be a blood bank at the hospital. Me at least in every 2 months or 3 months, farmgol ibitaji ika rotate ika yelodi so wol fana bolta ika sobra hospitals.
That's good. Yeah.
At least purunka ning saya fengol minimize
Definitely. Tam ko saya watu man jëm fa ak Ismaila comme liñ doon wax rek ci activities yi yow tam nga wax rek suñu bokki olof yi activities yi naka la tëddee from Friday Saturday and Sundays.
Well, Fatou, comme niñ ko waxee si anglais ak si soose ñu bañ séeréer yi mer rek dañu wax ne ajuma luy xew mooy dañu am road show ak waxtaan ak ndaw yi affaire yi feebar yoo xam ne ñoo nekk si dëkk bi comme HIV AIDS wala ñeneen ñu koy wax sida ba pare si guddi si xale yi dinañ def musique ñoo xam ne foo ñu lañ jógee samedi bi nag mooy bés bu mag bi waaw bés bu tuuti nag